Hello and welcome to my channel, and today we are filming my February wrap-up. So if you do not know what this board is behind me, I will leave the other two videos where I talk a little bit more about it down in the description box below. But basically, to sum it up, this is my bingo board for my wrap-ups, both bookish and non-bookish. It's just a way for me to keep up with my goals, and now we're going to talk about how February went. If you watch my February TBR, you know that I had quite a bit of books that I wanted to read. I, of course, didn't end up reading all of the books that I wanted to because it's such a short month, but I did get through actually quite a bit more than I thought, and I'm really excited to share them with you. So let's start off from the top right corner of the board, at least from my angle, and that is nonfiction. I did not finish a nonfiction book this month. I got about halfway through I think it was the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, one of Benson's books, and I just didn't end up finishing it in time. I am carrying it over into this month, so hopefully I will finish it in March just to say that I did complete it, but unfortunately not for February. The next one is self-care, and I definitely did do a bit of a self-care day. Don't ask me when. It's been a while. The next one is series, and I actually did, I read a couple books that completed a series, but the one I'm including for this prompt is This Book Is Not Good For You by Pseudonymous Bosch, and this is from the Secret series. This is the third book in the series, and this series follows Cassandra and Max Ernest, and we're not really supposed to know the plot of this series. Basically, the whole thing is just a giant secret, and I absolutely love this. This is a middle grade series that I completely adore. I find it so fun, and the way that the story is told, it just keeps you captivated, especially since the the narrator kind of interacts with you, and yeah, it's a really great series. I think it's so fun, and it's very funny, and I definitely can't wait to pick up more. I'm so glad that I bought this and I read it this month. The next one is a video project, and I actually didn't do one this month. I filmed something for, I guess you could have called it like a Valentine's Day video with me and Benson, but I didn't end up putting it out, and we're not sure when it's going to go out, so I'm not going to include that. I also didn't put out the video project that I wanted to, that I filmed in January, mostly because I didn't get to finish it, so I'm not going to include that. And the next one is audiobook, which I actually did listen to an audiobook this month. I listened to Anne of Greenville. This is a retelling of Anne of Green Gables, and basically this follows Anne, who is new in town, and she quickly realizes that there is a lot of hate in this town, especially considering the fact that she's adopted. She has two mothers, and this town is very much not LGBTQ friendly. She is queer herself. I'm not sure. It's been a little bit. I'm not exactly sure where she falls on in the LGBT community, but I know she is queer herself, and I did really enjoy this. I think I gave it like a 3-star. Just because it wasn't anything that was super groundbreaking. I really enjoyed the representation in this, and I also really enjoyed the kind of nods to Anne of Green Gables. It was, I don't know, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was super cute. Possibly will reread it. For now, it's staying on my shelf, but you never know what's going to happen in the future. Next one is Upload Weekly, and that is definitely not a thing that happened. My bad. And then ebook. So the ebook that I read this month is actually one that I don't own physically, but I read Call Us What We Carry. It is a collection, or a book of poems written by, oh my gosh, I forgot her name. I forget her name right now. I don't have anything in front of me that actually has the author title. But she is the young woman who spoke or who read her poem for Joe Biden's inauguration, and I just thought that was such a beautiful poem, and I wanted to read more of her work. So I picked this up from my Libby app, and I read it there, and I thought it was such beautiful poetry. She is an amazing poet, and you can definitely tell. I don't know, I just really enjoyed the poems, and I could not recommend this book more. Baking, we did not get any baking done this month. I was gonna do, Benson and I were gonna make like these chocolate bowls, and we are gonna put like ice cream in it, and we're gonna do chocolate covered strawberries, and we just never ended up doing that. I couldn't find balloons to make the chocolate bowls. Unfortunately we just didn't end up getting around to it this month, and I'm so sad about it, but next time. And then we have reread, which I actually did accomplish my reread of Wax by Gina D'Amico. This basically follows Poppy, who is kind of a little bit of a laughingstock in her town after a stage performance gone wrong, and she has kind of had to deal with a lot of bullying ever since. And then she discovers that this very famous, well-known candle factory is kind of a bit more sinister than it lets on. This is my third time reading this book, and again, I really enjoyed it. Absolutely, probably not the most groundbreaking writing. I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as I did when I read it the first time, but it was still really fun. It was a really fun story, and I would recommend it if you want something very light, not super heavy, and something that just kind of, I guess, like, if you're gonna like casually read something that like you don't want to take too seriously, it's really good for that. I will say, third time reading this, the one thing that really annoyed me is Poppy obviously has a best friend. Her name is Jill, and throughout almost the entirety of this book, while Poppy is like trying to get her help and explain to her like, hey, like this is going on, like I need help here, we need to save people, Jill is just like, okay, Poppy, like obviously you're having a mental breakdown, like you need to come down from this, and that's just not very girl power friendly. I'm not a fan. And then video game, and I don't have the case for this because it's somewhere in our studio, and our studio is currently still being remodeled, or not remodeled, but it's still being used as a holding location for the equipment to use for the bathroom being remodeled. So I can't really get in there, but I did complete a video game. I completed NSR, or No Straight Roads, and it's basically a music video game where you are playing as two people from a rock band who are trying to bring back rock by taking over hijacking concerts of EDM artists. And it's such a great game about like being able to express yourself no matter what genre of music you enjoy, or like really it's, I guess you can look at it as like being able to express yourself no matter what form of art you enjoy. And it's very, like, obviously in this case it's music, but you can really relate that to anything. I really enjoyed this. However, this game has some of my favorite boss battles and some of my least favorite of all time, because it's just there are times where it can genuinely be such bullshit. And obviously I'm not much of a pro gamer, but like there are just certain things where like how do you go from one boss battle being like not easy but like having a moderate difficulty to literally the next one just completely throwing all that out the window, and then the next one being super easy, or not like moderately challenged, and like it just kept like going back and forth, and it was just very frustrating at times. Otherwise, the game is amazing, and I highly suggest you check it out. And then unhaul, which I have unhauled at least one book. Hold on. This one, it is called The Siren. This is one that I started listening to on audio. It was definitely on my February TBR. And I remembered saying, I remember telling you why I was a bit skeptical going into this. I started listening to it, quickly discovered that, I probably wasn't going to enjoy this, and this is a really thick book, so I really don't want to force myself to sit through this when I'm probably not going to enjoy it. And really the only reason I bought it was because the cover is super pretty. I've quickly discovered that rich people drama is something that I have to be in the mood for. There's this one book that I'm super excited to read called Happy and You Know It, and that definitely has rich people drama in it, but I'm really excited for that one. This one, I'm not sure. And there's another one that I am unhauling, however I haven't talked about it in this list yet, so I'll talk about it later. The next one is library, and I actually took out 2 books from my library this month, and I didn't get to finish either of them. Again, I am hopefully going to read them in March, so I'm not gonna cross that off this month, but and the next one is a free space, which I don't have any extra books to talk about in this space this month, but obviously it's a free space, I can do whatever I want with it. And then readathon, and I actually participated in 2 readathons this month. One of them was Polarathon, hosted by Jade at JD Ray Reads, and the other was Geekathon on Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin's Patreon, which was the weekend of just reading manga or really just reading anything that makes you feel nerdy and geeky, and I participated in that, and I read a couple mangas, which I'll talk about a little later. I had a lot of fun. And then I don't know if you can see that, but that says loved one pick, which is basically just having somebody that I love pick a book for me, and Benson chose a book for me this month. And no surprise, he picked the next Legend of Drizzt book. This is book 6. 6? Yeah. Book 6, The Halfling's Gem. And I'm not going to shut up about this series. Obviously, my goal right now is to read 1 book out of this series per month. And this one is just as good as the last one. I just don't know how to keep talking about this series without spoiling too much of it, and obviously I can't say too much because Benson's not caught up yet, and I love these books so much, and I'm super excited that Benson got me into them, and I cannot wait to keep reading more. Buzzword readathon, hosted by Kayla at Books and Lala, which this month was Verb? Yeah. A book with a verb in the title. And for that one, I chose Kill the Farm Boy, because kill is verb. And this is so hard to describe. Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, a hero, the chosen one, was born. And so begins every fairy tale ever told. This is not that fairy tale. There is a chosen one, but he is unlike anyone who has ever been chosen. There is a faraway kingdom, but you have never been to a magical world quite like the land of Pel. It's up to a talking goat, a mighty warrior who resents her chainmail bikini, an assassin with a fear of chickens, and a cursed fuzzy-tailed bard to set everything right. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really funny. I listened to the whole thing on audio, and I have learned that this is, in fact, the first in a series, so I've started another series without meaning to. But, yeah, I thought this was really fun and really great, and if you're looking for a good, funny book that definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, I would definitely recommend checking this out. And then, date night! We did have a date night. Actually, obviously, this is the month of Valentine's Day. Benson and I celebrated Valentine's Day together, and we just had a very nice night in the house. Just relaxing and watching movies and TV shows, and it was a wonderful low-key night. Big book. So for my big book this month, I read The Mysterious Benedict Society. I also listened to this on audio, and I know a lot of people, or from what I've heard, this is a very popular middle grade series when it first came out. And I thought it was just okay. There was nothing super special that really stuck out to me about this one, and maybe it's because I was reading This Book Is Not Good For You around the same time, and they're both like middle grade mysteries. I enjoyed that one a lot more. This one, I don't know, I wish I loved it a lot more than I did. However, I just did not. And I am going to be unhauling this one. This isn't the one that I was talking about earlier when I said that I was gonna unhaul a book. But I just remembered I'm also unhauling this one. Adventure! We did go on an adventure. We actually went on a couple adventures this month. I went to Boston with our friend MK, and we went to Salem twice. We went to Salem, Massachusetts twice, just to kind of explore around and go to a couple museums, and we had a lot of fun. Classic. Second month in a row that I did not read a classic. My bad. Yeah, I really wanted to read Sense and Sensibilities. That would have been my classic of choice for the month, and I just didn't end up getting around to it. I read a little bit of it, was enjoying what I read, will hopefully continue back on it, and hopefully March will end my streak of ignoring the classics that are on my shelf. And the last one in this this little row here is movies, and I actually did watch a new movie to me, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Now, I have not fully caught up on the Marvel Universe, but Benson really wanted to watch this. This is one of the movies that we watched on Valentine's Day, and I really enjoyed it, and I was very... You can ask Benson, I went off afterwards. I was just very emotional. I was very upset. If you are not caught up in the MCU, you should do so, because it was a great movie. Small book. I'm including two in this section because they're both in the same series, and that is Spy Family 2 and Spy Family 3, and these are the ones that I read during the Geekend. And I'm quickly falling very much in love with this series and very much in love with these characters, especially Anya. She's like one of my favorite protagonists of all time. This series follows Twilight, who is a spy, and for one of his missions, he needs to acquire a child and a wife. And he does so. However, he doesn't realize that the child he adopts, is a telepath. And a telepath. And the wife he acquires is a professional assassin, and it's just so funny, especially because Anya knows exactly obviously what's going on because she's a telepath and she can read their both of their thoughts. So she's just sitting there the drama. It's it's so cute, and I can't wait to read the next one because oh my god, it's just I don't really want to say too much about it, but I love this so much, and a special shout out to Benson's youngest sibling for getting me into this. I'm very, very dumb. Hold on, let me finish this board and then yeah. Fitness, not a thing. That did not happen. Hopefully March will be the time to do that. Which, you know what? Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna check that off. I am going to in fact check that off because work was absolute hell this month. And it very much, so if you don't know, I work at a retail store, and a good majority of my job is running back and forth to give people their curbside orders. So I'm gonna account that because for some reason February was just atrocious. So I'm counting that because I did a lot of running around. Book club. Oh, I'm so sad. I did not actually complete a book club book this month. I was going to count a movie night for this one because Lexi's Patreon at Alexandra Roseland's is also, she flops between a book and a movie every other month, and I was gonna participate in the Soul watch along that was this month, but I had to go to the laundromat so I didn't get to. And then lastly, chores, which currently my room's a mess. And while we did keep up with the laundry, I'm not going to check that off. Which means, did I really only get one bingo this month? Okay. So I did only get one bingo this month. However, I have 2 more books that I want to talk about because I completely forgot that I could have used my free space for these. But first of all, My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. This follows Taylor. This follows Taylor, who is on vacation with her brother, and they quickly find out that their Airbnb has been the site of a murder investigation, or has been the site of a murder, and quickly falls in love with the bounty hunter that has been put on the case. And this book was really not good. Really not good. For the first half of this book, like, I've enjoyed reading books by Tessa Bailey before. This one I feel like was written by a completely different author. I don't know, this was very much tell and not show, and I did not like that at all. There were times in here where, like, you read from both perspectives, but there were times in here, reading from Miles' perspective, he was very much like, wow, I think I'm falling for her, but, like, I can't fall in love with her because I don't do the close thing. Oh my goodness, I'm freaking, like I'm a badass, and I'm like all this shit, and he would literally say this, and I wish I could find like a certain, like, the exact sentence, but it was very much, I don't know, like, he says it again and again and again. It is very much emphasized in the fact that he is not a man made for relationships, and he's just too much of a badass for this sweet innocent little school teacher. And it was just not a great book. Towards the second half, though, like, I did start really enjoying it, mainly because like, even with romance books, I'm really bad at reviewing romance books because there are certain times that I really enjoy it or don't enjoy it, but I definitely root for the relationship in it, and I think that was what was happening here. Because I didn't like the writing style in this book at all, and I really didn't care much for the story. I think it takes, like, a very special author to be able to mix romance and mystery and actually make it work to the point where both of them are, like, equally important into the story and one doesn't outshine the other. And this was not it. So yes, this was the one that I was talking about earlier that I am unhauling. So the next one, or the last one, is The Christmas Saurus by Tom Fletcher. This is a middle grade book that I read for Polathon. I think this is the only book that I finished that week. But this follows William, who has always loved dinosaurs. And he actually, like, even though he's asked for a dinosaur for Christmas, he never actually imagined that Santa would bring him a dinosaur. And neither did Santa. So it kind of just takes off from there, because not only is the story about William, but it's also about the last known dinosaur who kind of lives at the North Pole. And it's just the cutest book ever. I think there are more. I believe this is also a series that I probably, didn't need to start. Shouldn't have started. I am in the middle of too many series. But I did adore this one. I thought it was super cute. Probably nothing, like, super groundbreaking. Definitely felt a little on the younger side of middle grade, which absolutely is not a big deal. I definitely think you should check this out if that's something that you're into. So, I obviously only got one bingo, which is not good because I definitely bought more than I should have this month. Like I said, I went to Boston with our friend MK, and there was this bookstore there, and I bought 2 books that you'll be seeing in a future video. And I had to buy which I'm considering like whether I should count the ones that I have to buy, that I pull out of like my TBR jars. I'm considering if I should actually count those in this. I don't know. I'll talk with Benson about it. He's my my content manager. So I'll talk to Benson, see what he thinks. But I'm gonna consider like what I should do in cases like this where I buy more in the month than I like acquire points. Maybe I can do like a punishment or something that's not you can't buy books for a month, because obviously that's the whole point in this. So we'll see. I will consult with Benson, and if you have any ideas, please leave something in the comments, and I'll figure it out from there. Maybe I'll do like a jar of punishment ideas or something. Otherwise, I am still very proud of what I read for this month. I did get through a lot more than I thought I was going to in a month that was only 28 days. And I did actually enjoy a lot of what I read this month. So I still think it was a month well spent. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more from me, as well as Benson, who's a frequent member on this channel. I will leave all of his links down in the description box below, as well as links to my social media if you want to get any more updates from me. But until then, bye.